Welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Sword. We are breaking down this Falcons-Lions Week 3 matchup, which on paper looks to be the toughest matchup for the Lions to date, especially going on the road to a team that a lot of people think could win their division, at the very least make a playoff spot. It's definitely going to be the best offense the Falcons have faced. I'll start off with my biggest key because I really think this is going to be the key to the game, and it's not exactly a sexy key or a matchup key, but it's the health. Like, the health of the Atlanta Falcons looks like they could be literally clear on the injury report. Maybe Okudah misses, maybe Patterson, maybe they both miss, maybe they hold them both out. Maybe Troy Anderson misses, but he was a full participant. And even still, we saw Nate Landman as a more than capable replacement. On the other side of the ball, though, the Lions are just a very unhealthy team. I mean, they could be without 6-7 starters, including key pieces on both sides of the ball. And, a lot of people don't pay too much attention to this, but when you show up to the field on Sunday, you recognize when those guys aren't on the field. Imagine if the Falcons were without 6 or 7 starters. I mean, we'd be talking about, we have no chance. Now the shoe's on the other foot for the Lions, and I think when you talk about keys to the game, it's unfortunate for the Lions, and I hate that it is a key to the game because I like them both to be healthy in a perfect world and see, how we stack up against this team, but they're not. And I think that's going to go a long way in the Falcons getting this upset win and moving to 3-0.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to go more schematic, X's and O's. I think it's going to be two things in particular to me. Can the Falcons protect Desmond Ridder? Their pass protection improved against the Packers, but it still wasn't where it needs to be. A lot of that, hinges on other facets of the offense. Play action, the running game is as effective as ever, and things like that. Can you protect Desmond Ridder? Can you keep him upright? Can you keep him clean? Can you give him time to attack this Lions secondary? That leaves a lot to be desired. Geno Smith diced them up, but Aiden Hutchinson is as good of a pass rusher as we've seen this year. He's not quite Brian Burns. I wouldn't say that. Rashawn Gary is still probably a more effective pass rusher. Just, he's been in the league longer. But Aiden Hutchinson is for real. That guy's motor is unreal. I imagine he's going to get plenty of looks against Caleb McGarry. He's obviously the weak point in those pass protection sets. So that is something that needs to be looked at. And on the flip side, this Detroit offense is for real. Like we talked about yesterday with Jake, we pondered and pretty much came to the conclusion that Jared Goff is probably a top 10 quarterback right now, playing like a top 10 quarterback right now. Now he's closer to 10 than he is 1 for sure, probably closer to 15 than he is 1. But they have been an extremely explosive offensive attack, and the Falcons have actually been very good at limiting explosive plays. I saw a stat that said they are allowing the worst completion percentage on throws 10 yards or plus. Now, Jared Goff is one of the best in the NFL right now at downfield attacks. I think he's got a passer rating above like 120 when he's throwing it 15 or 20 yards down the field. This is going to be key. Can we get a pass rush? The Lions offensive line is much better run blocking than they are pass blocking, similar to the Falcons. Can we get some pressure? And Jesse Bates, I've got an article coming out. Go check it out, Sports Talk ATL. He's obviously been one of our best players. He's a center field quarterback, back end of the defense. Can he keep everything in front of him and limit those explosive plays? Obviously, the defense is a yin and yang. You got to have the coverage on the back end, but you also have to pressure the quarterback. Can they do that and limit the Lions' explosive plays? Those are my two keys. Can we keep Desmond Ridder afloat? Can we keep him clean? Because the Lions secondary, they're going to be missing C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and outside of him, there's leaves a lot to be desired on that back end for Detroit. And can we limit Jared Goff and the Lions offense from explosive plays?
Yeah, I mean, you saw Jordan Love really diced up the Falcons every time they didn't get pressure. And the Falcons did get some decent pressure, but I'm still waiting for that week where those pressures turn into sacks and they have that 4 or 5 sack week. Maybe that happens this week. I think it might need to happen. Obviously, Jeff Okudah being healthy and moving Trey Flowers out of the lineup, it could be huge. That could be a huge addition. As Troy Anderson as well for coverage purposes. But yeah, I mean, Jesse Bates, this is like the ultimate test for him. Like, how good really are you? Because right now he's been arguably the best defensive player in the NFL outside of Micah Parsons. He's rated the second highest behind Micah Parsons. But this is a different test, especially if Jeff Okudah's not playing. But I mean, dude, I like this matchup for the Falcons. I really do. I mean, we'll get into predictions in the next segment, but I think this is a game that, especially with all these injuries, they should win. Pass protection, obviously, always going to be key for this team because they are going to run the ball on everybody. I don't think there's a defense in the league that's going to completely shut down this offense, and they're going to keep toting the rock, even if they aren't having success. That is just what this Falcons team is going to do. But I'm looking at Desmond Ridder again, and I'm looking for him to have another big game. This is an opportunity against the Lions secondary, especially one that gave up so many yards to tight ends. Kyle Pitts, we talked about him early in the week, could be in for a big week, especially without CJ Gardner-Johnson. I think he could be in for a big week. I think really this entire passing game could be in for a big week, especially if they can protect Desmond Ridder, because this Lions secondary is there to be had. This Lions secondary is not very good. They got eaten up last week by Geno Smith. They got eaten up all of last year. They were one of the worst secondaries in all of football, and everyone's talked about them being improved. Let's see how improved they are. Protect Desmond Ridder. Let's take some shots downfield, and let's score some points and let this defense work, because if they can pin their ears back, that's something we haven't seen very much of. It's the second half of the Panthers. That defense was able to pin their ears back, and we saw them get a lot of pressure on Bryce Young. If they can pin their ears back against Jared Goff, I think that pass rush is going to start to get to them.
Yeah, the Falcons defense has pitched back-to-back shutouts in the fourth quarter, and that cannot go unnoticed. I want to praise the Falcons defense for that. They're flying around the ball, and this defense is looking like a top 10 unit as of right now. It's a long season. Let's not crown these guys, the 85 Bears or whatnot, but this is a drastic improvement from what, us Falcons fans have become used to. This is not your daddy's Falcons anymore. I think a lot of this is going to come down to, can Ridder just stay clean? If he can stay clean, he should be able to make the correct decisions. He's got to clean up the decision making and in the anticipation, but that comes with experience. There's no doubt about that. But we can also chalk up some of his shortcomings to the protection. It's been shaky at best. Obviously, they look great against the run or in run blocking. But let's see it come around. We need to play a full game. We're playing complementary football. The offense helps out the defense. The defense helps out the offense. Special teams hasn't quite had its moment just yet, but, that could surely come with Cordero Patterson potentially coming back. I'm looking forward. Let's keep Desmond Ridder clean. He should be able to dice up this Lions secondary, and can we limit Jared Goff's explosive plays?
Yeah, I kind of want to do a little bold prediction piece on individual performances, but we'll do that later in the show. Coming up after the break, we're going to give our Falcons versus Lions predictions.